Hey, 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 Mom Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Untying the Knot. And welcome and thank you to our co host, Miranda, for being here with us each and every month. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, welcome. So, we were talking before the show, and we started to get into a discussion about this was me starting the discussion. So, I'll let Miranda sort of share her perspective here. But I was sharing a story, and I promise it'll come full circle. I was sharing a story with her about how to get a colonoscopy last week. The worst, super rough, whatever. We don't have to get into that. But the purpose of me sharing that with Miranda is for the very first time I'm 46 years old. So, the very first time in 46 years, I had a male doctor. And I fought it tooth and nail. I didn't want a male doctor. No shade on our guys out there. I full on think you're intelligent, great at what you do. I just feel more comfortable in vulnerable positions, which let's face it, a colonoscopy is. But I feel more comfortable with women supporting me. I had a team of women that delivered my baby, for example. I feel more comfortable in my vulnerability with women. And maybe that's something I just need to get over. I don't know. But that's where I'm at right now. And honestly, Miranda, I have been around the block a couple of times, just told you how old I am. I run into that a lot
Mm.
with women. Do you feel that way? Do you have any insight to share? Do you share in that with me?
I mean, yeah, it's easier. I have mixed feelings on that because I have a lot of, and this is something I'm working through personally, understanding how my childhood affected my current life, and understanding how of a lack of a relationship or emotional connection with my father shaped what I go through today. So in some like in high school, all my friends were dudes. I always had like one or two girlfriends I could talk to, but I never had that clique. I never had that group. And I always was around dudes. But I'm understanding now that like now I'm on the other end, right? Now I have only females really that I talk to, and I have like my partner, and like that's it for a dude. So I'm trying to find that it's for me, it's a lot about energy and your own masculine and feminine energy and your own comfort level. And nothing's wrong, but it's just understanding, not running from something or not saying I refuse to talk to a man, but just understanding that and working within those limits and finding safety. And especially when you're in the middle of a divorce, if it's high conflict, or if a man represents something at the moment,
Right.
it might be easier to just be around women and talk to women about it. Not only do they understand where you're coming from, but you got the mother aspect and you've got the emotional aspect, So I think I don't know if that answers your question, but like I feel both sides of that, and I've gone through those feelings. But in the middle of a divorce, the people that affected me or really could get through to me the most were women who had been there.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. And I feel that way too, having been through, well, everybody knows my story because I shared that a couple of episodes ago. Everybody knows yours. Everybody knows we have been through it. Yeah. And I feel that so very much. And so having fast forward, over a decade now since my divorce, and having specialized in divorcing couples with what I do on the real estate end of things, I've actually noticed it in a lot of other women too. And most of my clients that come to me because they are either entering divorce and they have a real estate asset, or they're in the middle of it, whatever the case may be, or they want to keep their property. Because I work with women who aren't interested in selling. They just want to take it over the marital property, right? So there's definitely a lot of value in the information that I provide there, even if you're not selling at all or buying at all. But I have noticed that women tend to connect with me on a deeper level than I think if I had that masculine energy. They tend to be more vulnerable. They tend to cry on the phone with me, which I absolutely can understand. I cry with them half of the time, because it is pretty emotional, and witnessing that firsthand just really brings out the emotion in me and kind of sets me back to when I was in that position as well. How do you, in terms of your clients and those that you talk to, you work with mostly women?
All women right now,
as well. Yeah. Yeah. And do you see that same thing with your clients?
I do. And if I can say something, I think both you and I have a lot of masculine energy.
True.
And so I think that there's safety for women in that. Maybe not all women, but in us particular, having been through it, having been good, take charge, make things happen, figure it out women, and evolving into that, we have that kind of safety that men typically can provide for a woman, but we're female and we understand the other side of it. So I think maybe that has something to do with it, because they feel both of those energies together. But yeah, that they're looking for, you're looking for understanding. You're looking to be, I know it, like to me, it's always going to come back to your childhood, and it's so annoying probably, but that's what I'm going to always do. You're looking to be seen and heard. That's it. You weren't seen and heard by your partner. You weren't seen and heard. It doesn't matter if like, say you're at fault, or say you did something or whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is you weren't seen and heard in your relationship, which means you probably weren't seen and heard before in some different ways. Yeah. And so understanding that we're just looking for someone to connect to, and not every woman is going to be the answer, right? You may meet a woman and be like, yeah, I just don't connect. And that's okay too. It doesn't have to be like, I'm only going with a woman and not a man. You have to connect with the person as a person.
Right. So we decided to put something together, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. More of sort of a value share, like, hey, this is what is available out there that Miranda and I have worked hard to pull together, along with a couple of other awesome women here in our local area, which is Phoenix, Arizona. If you guys are listening from other parts of the country and want to connect with a team like this, you can get in touch with Miranda and I, and we can guide you as much as we possibly can. But here locally in Phoenix, Arizona, I mean, we've got that down to a science. And I just want to introduce this team that we put together not too long ago. And the reason I want to introduce it again is less of an advertisement of what we do and you know, that kind of like businessy part of it, more of a, hey, this is a team of women that have all been through what you guys have been through, that really in their hearts want to support women out there. And that's what I love about this team. And I feel like as we've been kind of working together, you know, the seven of us, I feel like this concept is really attractive to women out there simply because of what we've been talking about. Have you found that same thing?
Yeah, because support with one person, connecting with one person is great. Like that's fantastic. I connect with you. But knowing behind that person are other people who they support this person, this supports this person, it's all intertwined. And that I don't have to go, okay, fine, I got a lawyer, but now I'd never even thought about this. Or where do I even go to find this kind of person? Oh, it's right there, you know? And so with taking a lot of the guesswork out of this situation, taking a lot of the, who can I trust? Who can I even talk to? Like not having to think about those things and just being guided to the right people can really not even necessarily speed up the process, but just bring a lot of ease and a lot of more comfort to it, I think.
I totally agree. How many times have you spoken to somebody, either they just found you or you just started talking with them, maybe they just started the process and they're at a complete loss. They have no idea what the next step is. They have no idea what they should be doing, what they should be focusing on. They have no idea who they should be bringing into the fold to help support them. How many times has that happened?
All the time. And it's usually the people that reach out. I get messages from women a lot, and sometimes I don't hear from them ever again. Right. Sometimes I hear from them. I had someone message me that I haven't heard from since June. You know, because it's a process to even, I'm beginning to even, maybe this is a possibility to even just start thinking about it, to even like, what do I do? And if it's your decision, maybe that's faster. If it's something the other person brings, if it's your decision, maybe you have time to think about it. Right. You on your own pace. If it's their decision, maybe you don't have the time to think about it. So that comes into play too.
Which happened to you.
Which happened to me. Both sides have happened to me. And that puts you in that more of that chaos mode. So it really depends on the situation and what you're going through. but there's kind of two different veins and two different ways I look at it. One is like the literal overwhelm of emotion. Like I'm feeling so much, I can't feel anymore. And it's kind of breaking that down and thinking about the emotional part and the safety of that. And then it's the like just overwhelm of like stuff, decisions, things to figure out. And those do intertwine, but it's really, I think we kind of lump it all together. And I my goal in this divorce defenders thing is to be able to like, okay, let's take a beat. Here are your emotions. It makes sense you're feeling these emotions. Here's why, and kind of validate that and help people find compassion for themselves and safety within their own body. So these decisions and these things automatically become lighter and easier and clearer.
I totally agree wholeheartedly. And I want to talk about something that I know that you work through with your clients, because if you guys didn't see, let me pop it back up on the screen here. Miranda is the healing light. And I know that we have talked about that.
And I'm so tall. I love
She
it.
is so tall. I love your outfit too. Silver is just your color, girlfriend.
I love it.
But Miranda is the healing light. And so, Miranda, I imagine, and you could fill our audience in here, I imagine that the women that you speak with might be, all over the board in terms of where they are at in their journey, whether they might just be beginning, whether they might be in the middle, whether they might be through it and needing to find themselves again. But I want to talk about something that we as women, even if we're not going through this, I feel like we kind of struggle with a lot. And that is getting over maybe that shame or that fear or that guilt of, hey, man, I can't do this alone. I need help. And then seeking that out. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So like the first thing I think is your emotions are your emotions. The circumstances do not matter. Surely you have more stress at different times, different things are happening, that changes it. But what you're feeling the most is what you're always feeling the most usually, or what you've been suppressing the most that now is front and center. So understanding like what we talked about, I think on the Live and Learn last week, first of all, understanding that all of your emotions are valid, they are real, they are human, they are supposed to be there. They're not supposed to work against you. They're not here to shame you. They're not here to overwhelm you. They're not here to take you out. They're here to tell you something. They're here to let you know where you're stuck and where you're being held back. And in the middle of divorce is not the funnest time to face those feelings, but let's be real. If you had faced some of them earlier, they wouldn't be so loud and in your face right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So really like starting to just understand, like it's such a progressive thing. I have to acknowledge them. And then if I acknowledge them, I can accept that they're there. And if I can accept that they're there, then I can understand why they're there. Oh, here's what happened to me in my childhood. Here's what happened in my marriage. It makes sense. I feel this way. I should feel this way. Now, what is that trying to tell me? And letting really like grace and compassion are the two things that you have to keep coming back to. Even if you feel like I shouldn't feel this way. I don't know why I feel this way. You do. You do. So just have grace and compassion about there's a reason that you feel this way. And there's something that it's here to teach you. And the longer that you stay stuck in that beating yourself up for feeling a certain way and or beating yourself up for what you did while feeling that way, the longer you're going to stay in the loop. And you might make it through the divorce and you might put a Band-Aid on it. And you might even do a lot of self-work, and a lot of great things that you need to do. But you will stay stuck in that mental loop and that mental story if you can't let that shame and guilt go enough to be able to say, okay, you're not my enemy. You're here to tell me something. You're not here to break me. You're here to free me.
Do you have any, and I'm sure that you do, but do you have any advice for maybe a mindset shift or maybe something we can physically do even to sort of help get over that hump, because it's really a hump for a lot of people to be able to ask for help? Like, how do we work toward that?
So a woman has shame and guilt about she's feeling, and so she doesn't feel like speaking up or asking out or asking questions. Is that kind of what you're...
Exactly. Or maybe somebody who finds it difficult to level with themselves in the fact that they may not have all of the answers.
The first thing is we're designed as human beings for connection. Okay. We're designed for support. You cannot go through things alone. You can try, but you don't have to. Okay. So we need support. We should be able, yes, in theory, to be able to support ourselves and love ourselves first, foundationally. But most of us were not taught that, did not understand it, neglected that part. So you are going to need help and support to help you. And that's why, like the healing light, I love that. But I'm not healing you. You're healing yourself. But sometimes you need guidance from somebody who's been there, who can help you understand the tools that you already possess and already hold. You already have all the answers. You just have to work it out within yourself. But you might need outside help to hear that message and to see that. So you, like I tell women, you're not going to come to me with anything that's going to make me judge you or feel bad about you. I've been there. I've been through the depths of hell in this stuff. So don't be afraid to tell me. Don't be afraid to let the ownership of your thoughts that they have over you is really what it comes down to. It's not about trying to control those thoughts. It's trying to relinquish that control, that they don't own me, that they don't dictate what I do and how I move through the world. And if you think about it like that, why are you being held back? It's those emotions. So take control and take power by saying, you don't have control over me anymore. And I'm not going to use you as an excuse to not move forward and get the help that I need or get the support that I need. Or if you can't even think about it for yourself, think about the support and help your kids need.
Yeah.
Start there. Like, I need help.
That's easier for us.
Yes, that might be easier first. And I know I went that route. I went through all the parenting books and how do I help them? And it ultimately was always me.
Right.
But maybe you need to start there, and that's okay. Because I always say the people who are, I don't always say, I always think that people who are most concerned about their children and what they're doing are the ones that have a lot of inner child work to do that they're neglecting or afraid of or not ready for.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you, and I'm sure every session looks different and every experience with everybody that comes into your atmosphere. I was going to say your office, but I know you're kind of a mobile gal. Like, you'll go to them if you need to, right?
Yeah.
But do you do a lot of inner child work?
It, like that terminology, I am not a licensed therapist. I'm not a mental health professional by trade, but I was raised by a mental health professional. I've been around that world for a long time. And I'm also knee deep 2/3 of a way into a certification to a psychotherapeutic approach to body work and to the trap pain. So it depends. Like, I don't want anybody to go like, oh, you're not certified and whatever, but to me, it always comes back to your inner child. It always comes back to the needs that were neglected. And it's not about just realizing that. It's about being present with someone and being able to have them be safe enough with you to explore that, so that ultimately they can be safe enough with themselves to keep exploring that. So in that way, yes, absolutely. Because for me, it always comes back to what I didn't get as a child. And it's not necessarily a blame or on your parents. Sometimes it's not what they did to you. It's what they didn't do for you.
Right.
So being able to deal with that and realizing how you've played that out in all of your relationships and how you've re-wounded yourself subconsciously with people who triggered that same pain in you, and just really being able to acknowledge that. And I think that takes a lot of pressure off of you too. But in that way, sometimes there's some reparenting that needs to happen. Sometimes there's some just loving the child in us that needs to happen, that we just are so hard on ourselves. We beat ourselves up. We would never say to our children or to our colleagues or to our friends the things that we say to ourselves. And so a lot of work does need to be done there.
Totally agree, 100%. And I love that you are transparent about, hey, I'm not certified in this, or I'm not licensed in that, but I'm going through certification in this. I love that transparency, because I think that it's really important that there's truth and there's honesty. But I also think that it's really important for us to understand that, for instance, I'll use you as an example. You've been through a lot of life. You've had a lot of life experience. There is wisdom and there is value in connecting with you regardless of certification. Now, again, it's important to be transparent. It's important to be honest and truthful about who we are, where we come from, and what our background is. I think that is really important. But I also hate seeing people's values sort of discounted because they might not have that specific certification or that specific degree, where they have gone through the school of hard knocks and have lived it and have value and have wisdom to offer. So
well, I'll tell you, that's kept me back for many years. That's held me back from shining my light and telling my story, because I've been that person, as many of you may be, who could always help anybody else. I've always talked to other people. I am a teacher. I got a teaching degree over 20 years ago. So I've always tutored. I've always coached. I've always done things in that capacity. So I'm used to that. But as far as working with women, I realized like you're doing it anyways. You're doing it in your day-to-day life. You're calling in people who need help. And yeah, it'd be cool to say I have this, I have that. But that is not really what matters. What really matters is that I can sit with someone and say, and I don't even need to tell you this, but I know I've been exactly where you are. I've felt what you're feeling, and I'm going to sit with you while you go through that and be a safe place for you. And I don't even, it's not even a form of therapy. It's really just a form of guiding through that process, working with somebody. I call it sometimes conscious collaboration, that you're working with somebody and then getting close to their intention. Like, what do you want to get out of this? What do you want to feel? I'm not here to Sigmund Freud you and break you down. I'm here to like, where are your stumbling blocks? Where are you being held back? What emotions are holding on to you? And what's your intention with them? What do you want to see? Because unlike a lot of the work I've done, and I therapy is great, and I'll continue to do things and go. And it's important. It's more important if you're working with people to have your people that you're working with. You got to keep up.
Right.
But a lot of what I don't see is like, here's why you're messed up, or here's what's holding you back. But then now what do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to feel more of? How do you open that up, and how do you create, and what's really in here authentically, and honoring that inner voice? So it's kind of a mix of all of that work that I do. But I am as a mom who's been like on her own, sometimes it's hard to see that light. Sometimes it's hard to see out of it and even think about myself. Really, we're so busy thinking about our kids. Like, yeah, you should think about you and what you want and what comes next for you. So that's a lot of what I do too.
Put on your mask first, right? It's like such a cliche term, but it makes so much sense, doesn't it? I say that to myself all the time.
Yeah, you have to.
Because I tend, just like I think most women, I tend to kid, husband, work, what are other people doing in my life that I love and want to support? And then, it's 11:35 at night and I'm like, oh, then there's me.
Yeah. It's not even conscious, right? You know the women, or the people that are like not wanting to deal with their shit and not wanting to feel, right? But then there's some people that are like, no, I like to do that stuff. I'm just busy. I just have a lot of things to do. And so I unconsciously put myself on the back burner and don't do these things. And then little by little, it chips away at me until I'm like completely depleted and have nothing left to give.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Something that I wanted to say before we kind of got away from it a little bit, as conversations do, is I just wanted to thank you. And if nobody has ever said to you how valuable you are, certified or not, and what you bring to the table for women, like, let me be the first. Because I see the value. I know the value. I know you. We're getting to know each other more and more as the months go by, right? And it's beautiful and it's awesome. And I appreciate the value that you bring to the women community. So thank you.
I really appreciate that, because I've struggled with, kind of the imposter syndrome thing, or like, and then also on the other side, you see a bunch of people out there who are just trying to sell things.
Yes.
And it's like, you don't want to be one of those. So it's been hard for me to find my place and voice, but I really feel like I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the divorce group, because I really feel like this is exactly where I'm meant to be.
Yeah. Totally agree with you 100%. I feel like this is where I'm meant to be too. I just can relate so well with people that are going through it for a variety of reasons, one of which I've been through it myself. We know my story. But the second reason is, and this is probably something we should get into, in later episodes is I am the child of divorced parents.
Mm-mm.
So real quick, my parents were teenagers, teens, man, teens when I came along, and they married and divorced rather quickly. I was 2, I think, barely, maybe 2, when my parents divorced. So I have zero recollection of what it's like to be a child in a traditional family setting.
Mm.
I'm clueless. I have no idea what that's like. And so creating that later in my adult life, because I don't know about you, I'm pretty sure you and I are very alike in this. We want better for our child than maybe what we had, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to create a better situation than maybe what we had to endure. And so that was big, huge, giant for me when my son came along was, you know, trying to, and again, things happen and we can't control everything, but trying to instill that feeling in him of that traditional family setting. Now, is that to say that my marriage is perfect? No. Is that to say that my family is perfect? No. But that was really big for me because of what I went through
But you're
when I was
intentional
younger.
about the effort.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, where and it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Because I feel like I learned so much and really honestly gained value from the experience that I had, even if it was less than spectacular in the moment. Looking back, I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't know if I would have changed it, because looking back now, then I would have. But now I have some wisdom to offer, right? Now I can connect with people that might be dealing with that, or maybe they didn't have my situation, and maybe they had, you know, that traditional family setting, good or bad, when they were younger, and now they are dealing with that dissipating for their children, and like you said, they're concerned about how it is affecting the kids. Well, this is where I have felt, and I've had many a conversation with many women about this. This is where I feel like I can really offer some value and some insight. You know, like when this happened to me, it was the 80s. So it's a very different
we didn't even
time
talk
now.
about stuff like this.
Exactly. And it's a very different time now. So obviously the things that I went through specifically might look a little bit different now, but I feel like I can offer so much insight on what your child might be thinking, what they might be internalizing, how they feel that all of this is their fault, because that's all I ever felt, was that I was the reason my parents fought, that I was the reason they didn't get along, because it was always about me.
Yeah. Internalize it all. Because what else were you going to do? And you probably didn't talk to either one of them about how you were feeling about it.
Oh.
So then you just keep internalizing and keep blaming and keep holding on.
Right.
Yeah. I've gone through this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I just wanted to just reiterate, I am not a certified child therapist or whatever, or licensed or whatever it is, but I can offer that value and insight because I've been through it before.
100%.
And I just think it's valuable.
The experience is so valuable. And I got to get you guys together one day, but I have put so much work into she just turned 21, my 21-year-old, that she was 11 months old when we split up.
Wow.
So she went through the same thing. And then she was 12 when my second ex-husband and I split up. So she kind of went through it twice. And so now she has that double whammy effect. And I'm so proud of her. I'm proud of myself for like pulling myself out of it and getting some stability myself so I could help her.
Yeah.
But now she's a senior in college and doing amazing. But I feel like that is my biggest and greatest, I don't want to say case study because that sounds insensitive, but like that is my portfolio of work, like helping her through all of this, helping myself through all this, reparenting myself through parenting her, figuring all these things out and going, oh my gosh. And then not beating myself up or having guilt about how I did it wrong all of these years. Because now I figured it out. And now I'm aware. And much like you and your family, I know what I don't want. I know how I don't want my kids to feel. And even though they're already children of divorce,
Mhm.
I know now how to talk to them and how to work through them so that they can deal with their pain and trauma from childhood before they bring it into their own relationships and create their own families and children.
I love it. I love that so much. And thank you. And
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for creating the space and making all these connections, because without someone to take charge and take lead and have some sort of vision, and like you always say, I have no idea any of the details,
It's true.
but I just feel like this is what needs to happen and moving in that direction. That's where I've struggled. I just quietly had ideas for so many years and not put things into action because I never felt support. So like you have been so crucial to like, oh, I see a vision, I'm go, and now I have like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. That makes sense, you know?
Oh, I love that. And everything happens for a reason, I truly believe. And everything is so well timed. Even when if we think in the moment that it isn't, right? Like looking back at all those moments I've felt that way, I'm like, no, that actually was really well timed. And I am very, very thankful for the day that we connected. I don't even remember how, what, when, where. I don't know.
At this point, I don't know.
I don't know how we stumbled upon each other.
I've been in Mondation for probably 2 years or 3 years, so I don't even know. Yeah.
Me neither.
Awesome.
But that door was open, and I'm so darn glad that we both walked through it hand in hand. So thank you too. And if you guys and if Miranda, you have any closing statements, I'd love to hear them. But real quick before I forget, if you guys want to connect with I should have said this way a long time ago, but if you want to connect with our team, it doesn't cost you anything to talk to us. You can contact Miranda and I. It doesn't cost anything for direction and guidance and for connection to the team. And I just wanted to show you, we have this little, nothing fancy, but it's this little direct me. And in fact, right above my head right now is the QR code that'll get you there. It is direct.me/the divorce defenders if you need the address. But this is how you can connect with us, learn a little bit about our team, who we are, what the different things are that we deal with, because we each have our own specialty, our own thing that we're a superhero with, I guess you could say. And so you learn just a little bit about that. Like, for instance, I'll click on Miranda's. So you learn a bit about her. You have a connection to her there. If you want to connect with her directly, it's very easy to do. Just click on her Facebook page. Or if you aren't sure who you need to speak with, because sometimes, like we always say, when we're in fight or flight, we kind of lose access to those resources. We're all very resourceful women, but sometimes when there is that level of stress and things are feeling shaken up in our world, sometimes we don't really have access to that. This is something that you can complete. Give us just a little bit of background. There's just a few questions to answer. It's really not long. So that way we can match you with the appropriate person to chat with, because you may not need me. Maybe you don't have a real estate asset. And where I do have other things that we can talk about, like, being a child of divorced parents or whatever the case may be, and I don't mind talking about that. That's not my lane. And so if you don't need to talk to me, then, by all means, bypass me. Maybe you need Miranda. Maybe you need Annette, who is the attorney. Maybe you need Christina to help get finances sorted, because that can be something that's super in the air when we go through this. So that is your portal to not having to, what do I want to say? Going back to maybe feeling vulnerable and maybe being uncomfortable with that vulnerability. This is the way that you can kind of silently connect.
Dip your toe in and start. And that's important, because like I mentioned earlier, someone reached out who hadn't reached out till June. Take away the pressure, take away the time frame. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no, you're the only one that puts pressure on yourself. You are the only one that sets timing. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe there's court dates or whatever, but other than that, there's no time frame for anything. There's just safety and security and movement in the right direction. So it's okay. I won't be offended if you reach out and you ask me a question and then you ghost me. Or it's okay if you reach one person and then you're like, no, I think I really need this person. That doesn't matter. So let all of that go. If you're feeling compelled to reach out and then see what it is from there. But otherwise, you don't need to spend any time on should I, shouldn't I? That's just a waste of energy, I think.
Totally agree. Don't suffer in silence, ladies. We are here for you. And something that I want to say that I feel like goes without saying, but I want to say it anyway, that any conversation that you have with any of us, all 7 of us, individually or together, is confidential. It doesn't go anywhere.
100%.
Like, I have 100 podcasts, yeah, but I'm not gonna. I don't talk about the conversations or who I have them with. I might say, hey, you know, I talked with somebody about this particular subject because maybe it makes sense on the show to, you know, to say that. But it's never gonna be revealed who you are, what you're going through. That is not our goal here, and we are very, very passionate about protecting you.
Yeah.
We don't want you to feel like you never want to ask for help again because you got blasted online. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, and that, I think, is all shame. Shame's the number one thing that'll hold you back in life, in your divorce, whatever, with your kids. It's always gonna, like, the worst is shame. Yeah. So really, just like, I see so many anonymous posts, and I get it, I understand it, but we have so much just ingrained shame and even having thoughts that all humans should be able to have and express. So try and think about that, is like, no one's here to shame you. You know, shame comes from yourself. So.
Yeah. And, you know, this is a totally other subject for probably another pod, but I'll bring it up, is kind of working on this Mom Nation Girlfriends movement. Because I'm seeing, and this pertains to your comment, I have some thoughts on why we're seeing a lot of anonymous posts. And I agree with you, but I also think there's another factor, and that's the mean girl energy that's out there.
Judgment. Like,
come on, people. Okay. Everybody's different. We all have walked a different path in life. We all may or may not know something. And to shame somebody for what they don't know, or for a question that they have, or for something that they're going through, makes me feel like we're in the 3rd grade. And that isn't actually, that's not even fair to 3rd graders, because quite honestly, like, the kids in my kid's class, and he's not in the 3rd grade anymore, but they seem more mature than a lot of what I see on social media. So again, probably another, a topic for another.
It's all kind of, I won't get too far into it, but it's all connected to that, because that that person who's speaking is speaking as a 3rd grader, or the hurt 10-year-old who girl said something mean to her and she never got to speak up about it. Like, that's all it is. So and then people who are going through the most emotions are usually the ones that internalize it and feel so bad about some complete stranger making us feel bad because they're throwing a tantrum, or they're saying something that they wanted to say to someone else to you. Like, it's never about you. So I agree, but like, really, it's the judgment and the, if you don't have, and it really comes back to, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Exactly. And it's really, okay to disagree with
somebody. That's okay. The theme of the world right now, I think, is that you don't have to agree, and it shouldn't offend you, or it shouldn't take you out of your safety.
Exactly. And there is a tactful way to communicate that is valuable. And then there's one that's not so much. And unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of not so much out there.
Well, and I would say those are the people who probably need to be spending their energy working on themselves.
Yeah. Well, it shines, right? It shines a bright light on it. Yeah. It's like, hurt people. So if you're coming in and you're slaughtering a stranger for whatever reason, then that is a bright spotlight on the fact that you need help. And we want you to get help. So please contact us.
Yeah. That's all it should be. It shouldn't mean anything about you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Ooh, I feel the chills all over. I feel another episode coming, Miranda, but we've got to end this one right here. Is there any parting words before we leave our audience today?
That's it. No, just speak up, raise your hand and speak up and ask for help, because you never know what you're meant to do in the future, or who you could help in the future, even if it's just your children. But you can't get there unless you speak up and you start to get help.
Totally agree. Connect with us right here. QR code is right above my finger. Connect with us. Message us. We have our contact information in the show notes always. Our DMs are always open. Miranda and I are very easy to contact, maybe a little too easy sometimes. But we are very, very easy to contact. So please do. If you want to check out any of our previous episodes, hop on over to our YouTube channel. There you can get the video version of the podcast. It is at Mom Nation USA. That's our handle. Scroll down just a ways. You will see Untying the Knot, which is this playlist. If you prefer to listen podcast style on your favorite podcast platform, do a quick search for Mom Nation Talk Radio. There you will find our one channel that all of our podcast shows go through. Like, follow, download, hit the little bell to notify. You will never miss a beat. You will never miss what we lovingly call UTK, Untying the Knot. And we will see you next time. Thanks, Miranda.
Bye.
Bye.
Feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or disconnected from yourself? Miranda Ray offers one-on-one private sessions designed to help you reconnect with yourself. Gain tools for emotional healing, build confidence, and step into your power with compassionate guidance every step of the way. You deserve peace. You deserve clarity. You deserve to feel good again. Let Miranda help you get there. Take the first step toward a brighter, more balanced you. Reach out to Miranda now.